everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you guys have not noticed, I am no longer sitting down. Now, I actually bought new equipment for 2020, which is why I'm now standing and taking videos. I'm definitely more comfortable and I kind of have a lot of space to kind of move around. So I'm super excited. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys like this new setup. If you have stumbled upon my channel and you are wondering who is this weird girl talking about wanting space, rest assured I'm not your girlfriend. However, I am the marketing nomad and you are watching the Marketing Nomad Talks. I upload videos every Tuesdays to help your business step up your branding and marketing game. So today's video is going to be 5 inexpensive ways to promote your product or service on social media. I know that I said I have 5 tips for you, but I do have tip number 0 because without that, all my other tips are absolutely useless. So tip number 0, guys, is basically to open up a business account for yourself on social media. Now, I see many startups and many small businesses making this huge mistake where they think that they can rely on their website. If your website is getting that much traffic, well, good on you. But believe me, there is so much of resources available on social media that you are missing out. So my tip number 0 is take that leap, hop onto social media, make that business account. All right, guys? I think I clap a lot. Like, I actually do clap a lot and I'm realizing it now as I'm making videos. All right, guys, my tip number 1 is to identify where your consumers are hanging out. There is no point in marketing heavily on LinkedIn when most of your consumers are on Instagram. So one of the ways to do this is to kind of take a look at your competition and your peers. Now, taking a look at your competition's page, well, you more or less kind of know how to do that. You kind of go stalk them, go see their Instagram page, see their LinkedIn page. If they don't have a LinkedIn page or if there's not much activity going on their LinkedIn page, you kind of know that your consumers don't really hang there. If there's like high engagement on Instagram, you know that, okay, my consumers are heavily focused on Instagram. So that part, you kind of get it. What I'm talking about is looking at your peers. Now, who do I mean when I say peers? Let me put that very simply for you. Now, suppose you are a company located in a particular geographical location, and there is another company that is in your industry, but they are located in another geographical location, and their target audience geographical location doesn't really clash with yours. Take a look at their pages. Take a look at their LinkedIn pages. Take a look at their Instagram pages and try to understand where their engagement kind of lies. If their LinkedIn page is kind of active, but consumers are not really responding or not really engaging very well with them, then you kind of understand that maybe LinkedIn doesn't work for that type of a business. Now, if you go to their Instagram page and whoa, there's a ton of likes, there's a ton of engagement, and there's a ton of everything else, then maybe that is where you need to focus your marketing. So for example, if you are a sports adventure company located in maybe say India, for example, and you have another sports adventure company located in New Zealand, well, their target audience kind of matches with yours because you are looking at people who are, kind of extreme adventure lovers, who are into bungee jumping and those kind of things. So your target audience and the psychographics behind your target audience are kind of the same thing, except that you guys are located in 2 geographical units. So what happens then is that you take a look at their LinkedIn pages, you take a look at their Instagram pages. Now, if they have been posting regularly on LinkedIn, but there is little to no engagement on LinkedIn, but you take a look at their Instagram and there is a ton of likes, there's a ton of engagement, and there's a ton of shares, then that is where you need to focus your marketing efforts. So that is my tip number 1. Identify where your consumers are hanging out. You can take a look at your competition's pages. You can also take a look at your peers' pages. Okay, now let's hop on to tip number 2. Run promotions or run some deals so that your consumers kind of feel like they are special and it is exclusive to those who are following you on those social media pages. Which means that your websites can probably lead your consumers to your Instagram or your Facebook pages saying that there is a special promotion that's going on only on LinkedIn or only on maybe Instagram or only on Facebook. That way you are kind of targeting the people who usually come to your website, but they're not really familiar with your social media pages. So you're kind of driving that traffic to your social media pages. So making your consumers feel special on these social media pages can actually lead to higher engagement. What do I mean when I say higher engagement? It means that not only will they be liking your posts, not only will they be commenting on them, they will also be trying to actively get their friends and family to join in for those deals. So that's kind of like building your audience on social media. So I think that tip number 2 is actually pretty cool and can help you increase your audience even if you are not promoting a product or a service. In my experience, when I have worked with clients on promoting a product or a service on their social media pages, it usually helps to kind of put some sort of an urgency to your post. So maybe put some trigger words like hurry up or hurry, the sale ends soon. Giving a deadline actually works really, really well. And we as marketers need to take advantage of that fact that consumers love excitement. Consumers love drama. So when you put in that extra layer of drama or that extra layer of excitement where you tell your consumers that, look, this is not going to be there in exactly 20 days, your consumers are immediately drawn to that kind of drama, that kind of excitement, and there is a higher probability of them engaging with your post, thus promoting your product or service even more. So my tip number 3 is slightly a little different, and it is to join social media groups. These groups would most likely be more centric to your business or your industry, which means to say that people on those groups, they could be your competition, your peers, or they could also be your consumers. So these are really, really important, and I do not see many businesses taking advantage of these social media groups. They are available on Facebook. They are also available on LinkedIn. All you have to do is request to follow one of these groups. There are usually some guidelines where you are allowed to post on certain days, you are allowed to promote your business or your service or a product of yours on certain days. Here's my little tip. On every other day, try to interact with as many posts as possible. So that way, it doesn't look like you're just coming on that group, posting a bunch of stuff and just leaving the group. Make sure that you are building relationships on that group. And that is absolutely essential because if you are making connections on those groups, you never know who might be able to refer you, especially when some of their friends or family are looking for a product like yours. So this is something that I truly believe in. Even if you are not selling, make sure you are building connections. Okay guys, so tip number 4 is actually pretty simple, is to give away freebies. And not just that, actually taking videos or posting stories of you giving out these freebies or your consumers' reaction to these freebies are what will help you gain traction and also help you promote your product or your service. Now, tip number 4 is actually a pretty cool way to get testimonials, which are pretty important for your business. Just because consumers these days are not really going to buy a product because you say so. They want to know people's reactions, they want to know how your product is doing, and they want to hear people like them telling them to buy the product. And what better way to do that by offering freebies and getting videos of your consumers' testimonials. And finally, we come to tip number 5. My tip number 5 is to make sure that you are interacting with your consumers on your stories. And this is something that I constantly keep telling my clients as well. When you are posting Instagram stories, make sure that you are completely utilizing the poll feature, the questions feature, and even the countdown feature when you are about to launch your product. One of the main pros of the countdown feature is that if your clients are interested in the product launch, all they have to do is click a button and they get notified when the timer hits 0. And I think that that is a really cool way to keep your consumers engaged just before your product launch. So my tip number 5 is basically make sure you are interacting with your consumers before your product launch, during your product launch, you can even go live, and even after your product launch. That sort of interaction kind of builds the hype for your product without even you spending a penny on it. And that is the perfect way to wrap up your entire product launch campaign. These were my 5 tips on inexpensive ways to promote your product or service on social media. I hope that these tips have helped you. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to write in the comment section below, or if you want me to make a video on any particular topic, I would be happy to do so. Put your questions in the comment section below. Until then, follow me on social media where I give you tons and tons of tips Monday through Sunday to help your business ace your marketing game. Alright guys, I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye!